During the Cold War, the world obsessed over concrete bunkers, fallout shelters, and reinforced underground vaults. But, the most reliable and practical survival method used by soldiers, scientists, and remote Arctic crews wasn't a bunker at all. It didn't require generators, steel doors, or ventilation systems. And if you give this next minute your attention, you'll understand why this Cold War trick not only saved lives at the edges of the world, but remains more effective and more realistic for ordinary people than many modern bunker designs today. When Cold War forces operated in the Arctic, Siberia, Alaska and high-altitude mountain regions, they discovered something. The environment itself can become a shield if you understand how to shape it. They learned to work with the cold, with the wind and with the earth, instead of relying on heavy infrastructure that often failed in extreme environments. What they built wasn't glamorous. It wasn't designed for luxury or long-term comfort. It was built for survival, concealment, and thermal stability. This technique worked because it used the insulating and protective properties of snow, ice and earth in ways modern bunker designers often overlook. And the best part is that the exact same method can be replicated today with nothing more than a shovel, a tarp and basic field knowledge. Cold War soldiers trusted snow and earth shelters because they offered unmatched insulation and concealment. In extreme cold, modern materials fail quickly. Metal, for example, radiates heat away, and concrete just absorbs and leaks cold straight through its walls. Fiberglass blankets, they compress under weight and lose performance. But snow and earth behave differently. Snow traps micro pockets of air inside its structure, and earth forms a thermal mass that absorbs and slowly releases energy. Cold War field manuals document that temperatures inside snow and earth shelters routinely stayed far above outside conditions, even when external temperatures dropped below -30 degrees Celsius. Units stationed along the distant early warning line used compacted snow shelters as emergency overwatch posts because they could be built fast, offered natural camouflage, and didn't require electrical heating. Soviet reconnaissance groups in the northern Urals used shallow earth shelters, roofed with ponchos and packed with snow to create a thermally neutral pocket. North Korean and Chinese forces in mountainous terrain built earth-snow hybrids for the same reason. They stayed warm in winter, cool in summer, and invisible to aerial detection. These shelters succeeded because they stabilized the internal climate better than modern bunker designs. A bunker made from artificial materials expands, contracts, and loses heat rapidly. In contrast, a snow and earth shelter maintains a stable internal temperature through 3 key effects: thermal mass, trapped air insulation, and reduced airflow volume. When Cold War soldiers dug into a slope or built a dome-like snow structure, they created a microclimate sealed from wind, sun, and rapid temperature swings. Even a small heat source, such as a candle, chemical warmer, or body heat, warms the enclosure efficiently because the shelter does not leak heat aggressively the way hard-walled bunkers do. Modern survivalists can apply the same principle without special tools. If you dig into a hillside, reinforce the roof with branches or a tarp, and pack the exterior with snow or loose earth, you've created a shelter that outperforms thin-walled cabins in extreme cold. So, the structure becomes a temperature buffer. It stores heat, reduces radiant loss, and, well, it shrinks the air volume you must warm with your body or gear. Cold War forces, you see, refined the method of building fast, reliable earth and snow shelters that anyone can replicate. The process typically began with choosing a natural windbreak, such as a hill, ridge, rock formation, or forest edge. So the troops dug into the leeward side to reduce wind exposure. They carved a small entry tunnel, angled downward to trap cold air below the sleeping area. Then they widened the interior chamber, smoothing the walls to prevent dripping or, any sort of structural collapse. A tarp, poncho, or even aircraft canvas was used as a roof membrane, supported by branches, skis, or any stiff material they could find. After that, snow or earth was heaped on top to create a thick insulating layer. This method works because the insulating layer is several times thicker than anything modern camping gear can provide. Once soldiers moved inside and blocked the entrance with a rucksack or a snow block, the internal temperature, rose steadily. Many Cold War veterans reported sleeping in shirt sleeves inside shelters built under those brutal Arctic winds. For a modern viewer, this technique actually translates well into winter expeditions, emergency vehicle breakdowns, or off-grid homestead situations. If a person's car fails in a blizzard, digging a quick snow trench and roofing it with the car's floor mats or a blanket can preserve warmth dramatically better than just sitting exposed inside the vehicle. Farmers caught in a sudden freeze can build a temporary earth-sheltered workspace around equipment that must be thawed. Even hikers, can create a stable emergency shelter by using their pack tarp and packed snow for insulation. This Cold War trick remains relevant because it solves problems modern bunkers cannot. Modern bunkers depend on electricity, ventilation, and structural materials that react poorly to extreme climate. Snow and earth shelters rely on natural physics. Modern bunkers are easy to spot on satellite or drone imagery. Snow and earth shelters blend seamlessly into the landscape. Modern bunkers are expensive and stationary. Snow and earth shelters can be constructed anywhere in hours with no machinery. The Cold War produced many technological marvels, but its most enduring survival method came from understanding the environment more deeply than the machinery built to resist it. In environments where heaters fail, where fuel is scarce, and where concealment matters, this strategy still wins. If you enjoy deep-dive Cold War survival tactics, forgotten fieldcraft, and real methods that still work today, make sure you subscribe, share this video, and leave a comment. Your support keeps these historical techniques alive for the next generation.